welcome back. Thank you for staying with us. This is Y in the morning. In case you're joining us now, you are on time for the first conversation of the day. And we'll be talking about navigating ethical practices and sustainable growth strategies. So if you're a business person or if you intend to get into one, then this conversation will really be beneficial to you. I've been joined by an expert. She is Miss Fatma El-Maawy. She's the founder of the Africa Business Ethics Conference. She wears so many hats. She's also the advisor and growth strategist, for small and growing businesses, among many other things that she does. Karibu sana, Miss Fatma.
Asante.
Glad to have you with us.
Glad to be here.
Great.
Thank you.
All right. I know you do so many things. So maybe let me give you the opportunity to tell us what are the things that I've not mentioned.
Okay. As I said, my name is Fatma El-Maawy. I'm the immediate former Vice President of the Kenya National Chamber of Commerce and Industry. My background is in hospitality. I worked for Emirates Airline, got headhunted and set up Qatar Airways in East Africa, not just in Kenya. And then I decided that I wanted to go and do my own business. I went into training. And then when I went to training, we trained big companies. And of course, I thought, why are you just training big companies? Why don't you train the smaller companies? That's how I got into SME space. I used to train for IFC. As you know, IFC is the International Finance Corporation, which is the private sector arm of the World Bank. So I used to train all over Africa. Most of the businesses felt that the one ingredient that stopped them from growing was actually having to pay kitu kidogo. So when SIPE is International Private Enterprise, when they came to Kenya and they wanted to train on business ethics, I jumped to it because I felt that was the answer to a lot of our SME problems.
Great, because I wanted to ask you, because I know there's a conference coming up in December that you began, and I want you to tell us a little bit about it. What was your inspiration to come up with the Africa Business Ethics Conference, and what is being talked about in that space?
Okay, ABEC stands for Africa Business Ethics Conference. We started it in 2019. Interesting, before the conference, as I said, I started training for SIPE. So we used to train companies on business ethics, how they can grow their businesses, how, excuse me, how do you make your business sustainable? So,
Sorry. Great. I love that, you are the right person to talk to us about this, because we have talked to many young people who have gone to business, who are in the SMEs, who are just in, starting out and all that. So we want to know all these things, the hurdles that are there, how to get through past them. Yeah.
Over 50% of small businesses actually don't see their 5th birthday. They collapse somewhere along the way. And the issue here, why do they collapse? Okay, what is the secret ingredient? When I was training SMEs or even big companies, the one thing that people used to come and talk to me after the class is that, Mama, we know all this that you're saying is good, but I must give this, I must do that in order for me to get a license, in order for me to get that contract, in order for me to do da. This is the small business. When you go to the big businesses and you ask them, can I come and train you on business ethics? And they will tell you, no, I am good. I'm not corrupt. My business is not corrupt. Now, if everybody says that they're good and they're not corrupt, the issue here is, why aren't we growing? Why is in the country growing beyond the single digit? Why can't we go into double-digit growth? So I sat one day and I said, you know what? If we don't accept that there's corruption, corruption is not an African problem, but corruption exists in Africa.
In Africa.
So why don't we all sit together at a round table and discuss this, look for ways, look for how are we going to solve it, how are we going to reduce it and eventually eradicate it. That was the inspiration to actually start EBEC. Now the good thing about EBEC is that it's private sector led. It's not about the government. We keep on pointing so many fingers that the government is corrupt.
Yeah.
But government works with the private sector, isn't it? So if we as a private sector can regulate ourselves, can reduce, because when buildings collapse, bridges collapse, somebody worked on that bridge, isn't it?
Yes.
Now, it means that to reduce corruption, there's two people who tango, isn't it? In Swahili, they say that kidole moja hayunji chawa. You need both of them, meaning that it's not just about the government, it's also about the private sector.
Very
We hear
true.
about the government, but we don't hear
About the private sector. It's always the government.
It's always
It's
the government,
corrupt. And
yes.
it's, well, it's true that there's corruption in the government, but we all have a role to play in
Precisely.
corruption, even at
Precisely.
an individual level. So now at the conference, I understand it's different stakeholders. Now, who are the stakeholders who come to have this conversation?
So primarily, number one is the private sector. I don't know if I said this is the only conference that is actually private sector led. It has nothing to do with the government or NGOs, and it's the only conference that was started in Africa by an African looking for African solutions to a problem that we have.
Wow.
So what do we do at the conference? We honestly talk about business ethics. We talk about what are the challenges, and we bring out the challenges. What are the challenges and what do we do about those challenges? For example, in 2021, we spoke about self-regulation. How does the private sector regulate itself? And one of the things that came out from the conference is that we needed to have integrity champions. We needed to have, if I know you are not corrupt and you know I am not corrupt, why don't we do business together? So basically we are looking at the carrot model, not the stick model. We are showing companies that being ethical actually makes your business long-term, more sustainable and more friendly. It attracts growth as opposed to you corrupting your way around. Oh yes,
Okay.
you will get a lot of business, my dear. I've seen my friends. They are, they're doing well. Lakini, when it's like, you know, it's like, I don't know if you played snakes and ladders when you were young.
Yes, yes.
It's like you run, you go up
Go
there.
at the top, and
then
then you
when
get
you reach
swollen.
the top, you get swollen.
All the way down
And you
to
go
where you
down.
started.
How many businesses that have done well, but when the founder goes,
It collapses.
collapses. So we are talking about you setting up your business that is growth oriented, that goes beyond you. Because you are ethical, you had the right processes, you had the right procedures, and even if you are not seated there, the company
Will still go
survives
on.
and grows.
All right. That's quite profound, and I think it's very necessary to have such conversations, because if we can remove corruption from this side, then people will align. You know, businesses will align to that. So we just need to start. And how's the progress like so far? Since you started in 2019, how are you seeing the space? Are we is it getting better with the, even with the corruption still being in the country, but is it getting any better? What needs to be done? What more needs to be done?
We need to continue and increase this conversation, number one. And number two, we need to get more businesses to do the right thing. What am I saying the right thing? Don't, especially for SMEs, don't work chini ya maji. Get your licenses, give Caesar what is Caesar's. If you have to
Pay your
pay,
taxes.
you pay your taxes. And why am I saying this? Because then those people that come to check your business every day, when they come, you show them your licenses, isn't it? I was training some, they're not hawkers, but they are businesses in Nairobi, small, you know, one person kind of a business. I was shocked when they were telling me every single day they have to pay between 500 to 1,000 for them to operate.
That's
If they
true.
don't, the business is closed. And I was like, okay, I didn't pass maths. If you say 1,000 every day, 365 days in a year,
How much is
how
that?
much are they paying when a license costs between 5,000 and 10,000? So why are you paying so much when all you have to do
Is get a license.
get a license?
And it saves you money.
And the
gives you
headache and peace.
You know?
You don't have to keep on running with the council askaris. So when we showed the business people, they were like, wow, I'm going to buy my license tomorrow. So this is what I do.
Okay.
We show people how. It's a little bit what you call mindset engineering. It's about solving our problems slightly differently, okay? And they can only do that when you tell them, you show them, you walk with them, because most people actually don't believe. My business is now, I started in 2010, so I'm 14 years old in business. I've never given anything.
No bribe, no nothing.
No. I pay my taxes when I have to. I pay for my licenses. Okay, I'm a little bit like, I feel, oh my God, my money is going away. I don't feel good, but at the end of the day, it's always better for me. So these are the things that we discuss at the conference. We look at the media. The media hypes, sorry to say this, the media hypes government corruption. Why doesn't the media hype private sector corruption?
Okay. So it needs to be balanced. If
Needs to
you're
be
showing
balanced,
to
isn't
show all
it?
the way.
Because it is us that do business with the government.
So
Government doesn't do business with itself. Yeah.
So it fuels corruption. The private sector, it's actually fueling it. And what you've just talked about, it's a problem mostly with informal businesses, the small
Informal.
business- even formal business have a problem with
Yeah.
this. Okay, how is it that formal business might have a problem with getting their licenses? And because I know for most informal business, the mama mbogas, they will not, because they do not have the knowledge, as you've said, they do not know it's actually more expensive to pay these bribes than to get the license, to pay for the taxes and all that. Why is it that the formal business fails?
Okay, formal business will have their licenses. Okay. But what do I do in order to get the contract? I need to know someone, isn't it? I need to give something. I need to do now. It comes back to you. When you are there, you are able, you know people, you get the business. But what happens when you are not there? Can your business grow beyond you?
It won't be sustainable.
Can it be sustainable? So what we are talking about is not growth only. We are talking about long-term sustainability and growth. That's number one. Number two, Kenya, we want, like now we're exporting labor. Okay, we export fruits and vegetables. We want our businesses to plug into the international arena. We want the FDI. We want investors to come and invest in our country. We had a problem recently. Okay, company I will not name. I don't want to be sued.
Yeah.
Whereby they invested in a tire company here in Kenya. Okay, it's an American company. When the Kenyan company started bribing in order to get business, the American investor got sanctioned in his country.
Wow.
For one simple reason. There are two laws. One of them is called the US FCPA, Foreign Corrupt Practices Act, and then the UK is called UK Bribery Act. So any American company, any
UK.
British company, okay, even the French have it. If they are found to have been corrupt, not themselves, their subsidiaries, the people they work with, their supply chain were corrupt, they get sanctioned. Now you tell me, will they want to come and invest in Kenya?
No.
They will go and invest elsewhere. So this is what we train our people, and we tell, if you want to plug into the international arena, tafadhali, do your business ethically. Yeah.
So how do we, apart from, you've said we need to get this conversation going on and create the awareness. I'm trying to see, how do we convince a business that has already been getting contracts and they're already in this habit of giving bribes to get contracts, and they see that it's doing well for their company and they're not looking at the future and how sustainable will it be? How do we, is there any other thing that we can really do to persuade them to move away from that? You know, I'm already used to money, then how do I stop and just remain and now go the right way? Due diligence, just seeds, apply for them and be hopeful that I'll get them.
Okay, number one, we have these conversations in training. We show them theoretically, okay? This is what will happen, this is what will happen, and you need to do A, B, C, D, E. We need to train from the top all the way down.
Okay.
Previously, the issue of kitu kidogo used to be right at the top, but to be honest with you, now it's
all
not
the
right
way
at the
down.
top. It's actually come down. It's the tone at the middle. The supervisors, the managers, the people that processes the checks, the people, because as a CEO or as a finance director, you don't literally magnify everything that you get. You get it from your people. So that is where the tone is, and that is where the youth are. Okay? So we train the top and we tell them, if your people do these manenos, you as the CEO, you as the financial director, even though you did not take,
It reflects in you.
and you are still liable. And this is the Kenya Bribery Act, 2016. That today I'm the CEO of my company, but if my juniors are involved in corruption, I am equally corrupt. Now that normally gets people to start thinking. I mean, I wouldn't want to go to jail for money I have not stolen, you know?
Yeah.
So I wouldn't. So we train them. After the training, then we do what we are calling corruption risk mapping. We diagnose your company. We come in and we look at your processes, we look at your systems, and we tell you, hapa kuna shida, here there's a problem, here there's a problem. We work together to close
The loopholes.
The loopholes.
Okay, so there's a way that you can actually audit and see
Yeah.
this is where things are not going right.
True.
All right. Now, where's the place of the organizational culture? In another forum, they were talking about organizational culture being very essential, and to make sure that your employees, your staff know it, you know, go with it. So how does this come into play when we want to eradicate the issues of corruption and create sustainable business growth?
People do what they see you do. They don't do what you tell them to do. So it's about ethical leadership, okay, trickling all the way down. You need to explain to your people that by doing the right thing, the company is able to grow. And when the company grows, there is also more for them. Okay? It's not just about the company, because companies who? Companies people, isn't it? It's the people that actually work in that particular company. I know nowadays when we are employing, a lot of the organizations would even take a less skilled, slightly less skilled person if that person has the right demeanor, has the right attitude, is honest, has integrity.
Okay.
Because these are the people you need in your company. Yeah.
So they need to reflect what they want to their juniors to actually have in that company. What are the strategies for growth for someone who wants to get into business or who has a startup business? What are the things that you can advise them from your experience, your great experience, to employ in their business?
Number one, as a business person, you know, in Kenya, we tend, if I saw you doing a business, maybe just a hairdresser, for example, and you are driving a good car, then I assume hairdressing is paying you. Then I also want to become a hairdresser.
Yeah, exactly.
Okay? I remember a couple of years ago when the government had given SMEs, startups, some money. Everybody did the same business. Now, when you do the same business, who is going to trade with whom? Let me tell you, I come from Lamu, and everybody wanted to sell coconut. But if everybody sells coconut, there's only enough coconuts you can buy. So somebody needs to do coconut, somebody needs to do choco, somebody needs to do rice. That way, everybody is doing something different, and you're able to trade from each other. So number one, as a business person, what is it that you truly want to do, you truly feel you are good at? Then you need to research, is there a market for what you want to sell?
Okay.
And you start from there. Yeah.
So do you do a good research before you get into what you want to get into?
Precisely. We saw that when I did those two small eggs, we used to sell, there was a market and everybody was selling the small eggs. There were small eggs we used to, everybody went into that business.
I think I remember, is it the, I've forgotten
the name, but the small eggs. And everybody went into that business.
Yes.
And then everybody went into clothes. And then everybody, we are a Me Too society. You want to follow what other people do.
The quails.
Yes, quails.
Quails, yes.
You want, everybody you want to follow. But what is it that you, Fatma, as a person, can do?
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. So it has to be something that you're really passionate about, but also something that people want.
Yes.
You know.
Yes.
Okay. All right. There's a founder that I was talking to, and he said his reason why many startups fail in Kenya, and you said earlier, you said that I don't know if it was here or off air, that many businesses collapse before their 5th birthday. Yeah, when we were actually starting, you said that. So he said for many startups, it's usually a founder's problem. The founder is usually the problem 90% of the time. Why is this the case?
You don't want to let go. Because it's mine. I'm the one that started it. It's my baby. You see, what brought you here, okay, may not necessarily take you there. Okay. As a founder, you were everything. You relied on your gut feeling, you relied on your knowledge, you relied on your contacts, and you brought a business, you sustained. Maybe you were there for 3 years, but maybe after 3 years, the environment is different. The environment needs something else. You need to get other people involved. Do you listen to what those people are telling you? Or is it just my way or the highway? So sometimes we actually don't read the environment properly.
Okay.
Okay? And sometimes we also don't bring expertise on board. It was okay when you started, but when you reach a certain level, when you need to take off, when you need to grow, you need a different set of individuals to come in. Maybe you need younger people to come in, and you're insisting you are there and it has to be your way. Yeah.
Okay, so that's usually the problem, not being open-minded and open to change, to adapt to the change that is there. And what about, I understand that you've also into responsible entrepreneurship, something around that. Tell us what responsible entrepreneurship is all about.
Many ways it looks after ESG. Where you are working, are you cognizant of the environment where you are working? Or do you just want to pollute and throw things? Okay. What is the impact, social impact of what you're doing? It's not just about money. I mean, as Kenyans, it's unfortunate, we are only concerned about money, what I can get, how I can grow, but you're not looking at, am I depleting? Am I not leaving anything for the generation that is coming? You know, so these are issues and conversations that you as a business person need to look at. For example, I know this is very simple and very simplistic example. We talk about environment, but how many of us throw rubbish on the road?
A lot.
A lot. Whom do you expect to go and clean up? Why don't you just keep it or have a small dustbin in your car and throw it? Now, we were banned from plastic, which was good. Having said that, we also have so many things that we are not looking at. So responsible entrepreneurship is about, yes, I want to do my business and I want my business to grow, but not at the expense of the environment, of other people, of the future growth of this company. What about the governance of your business? When you reach a certain level, you are a founder, you're a one person, but when you reach a certain level, you need other people to come in. What is the thing that you're telling those people that have come into your business? Are you telling them that everything is okay? I remember I was training in Zambia, and I was training them on business ethics as well. And then there's a lady that they came to me and they said, oh my God, madam, thank you. And I'm like, okay, thank you, yes. And she said, you know, I'm wondering, there's one customer who always comes to my business and she never misses gemstones. When everybody else does not get, she always gets. And I said, why is that so? Because the other businesses may run away from you. And she said, it's because she always brings gifts to my staff. So she never misses. Now, do you want to rely to one customer or do you want to have many customers? You know, these are the things that we need to look at. And sometimes customers also influence or corrupt your employees. You know, so it's
So you need to check it.
You need to check it. You need to know what it is that's happening in your company. You actually need to be there for that company to be able to grow even when you're not there. Yeah.
Okay, wonderful. Before we get back to business ethics, talk about innovative business. What is the importance of business to be innovative? And you've told us, you know, when you're starting a business, do something that you actually can do and look at the market. But now, what about the innovative business? What is the place of it and why is it important?
Wow. That's not just important, it's crucial. It's crucial. Simply because as businesses grow, IT now guides a lot of our work. When we had COVID and people could not do business, people were at home, okay? We actually trained businesses, mama mbogas, let me tell you, how they can use the nets for the growth of their businesses. And some of them actually grew. So how do you connect? A lot of businesses nowadays are done online. How are you able to do it online? You don't even have to leave your house for you to shop. Okay, that's number one. Number two, what are the innovations that are happening out there that you as a person can use? For example, one of my businesses is actually, it's a family business. It's a garage. We fix motor vehicles. Before, it was just a human being diagnosing. Now, we have machines. Why? Because this is an innovation that has come and we use it. So you have to be in tandem with what is growing out there, but not just innovation for the sake of innovation. You need to fit it to your business.
All right.
Yeah.
You need to make sure that it fits in well. With our digital disruption and even the revolution that's happening, we have now AI technology in this space. What now for things like AI? And people feel like it's coming to take their business and all that. What are the challenges that it presents, but what are the opportunities that it also presents?
AI makes things faster, makes things easier, and it's also a challenge to us. And when I say us, I mean people who are already on the 6th floor and people who are younger, okay? Meaning that you need to keep up. You need to keep up because the rest of the world actually is on AI. AI now, I mean, you can do an operation just, you don't even have to cut up somebody. Now, if, for example, our doctors don't learn that, we will be left behind. People will be going out of the country to go and get medical attention. Now, what it means that irrespective of the company or the sector where you are, okay? What is the innovation out there? How can you embrace innovation? Now, it does not mean AI is getting rid of the human factor. You still need that human factor, but it aids the human factor in order to get things done better, faster, cheaper, and easier.
All right.
Yeah.
Wonderful. I think that's very well put.
Yeah.
Now, back to business growth, the sustainable business growth. What strategies can be put in place in a business to ensure that ethics, all the ethical concerns are addressed for better prosperity?
As a manager or as a leader of your company, number one, you have to be convinced yourself, okay? You have to espouse. Remember I said people don't do what you tell them. People do what they see you do, okay? Once you are practicing it, talk to your team and tell them this is how we do business, okay? Now, having said that, don't leave them there. Show them how to do it. Have the right processes in your company. Even if you are a two-people company, have processes that guide you, have systems that guide you, and tell them in case, for example, there are clients who would come and they would tell you, it's okay, I will pay this, but I don't want to pay tax. You know, you have to charge VAT. Now, you cannot, because if the client does not pay you VAT, it simply means you have to pay that VAT.
Yourself.
Caesar must get what is Caesar's. So you need to explain to your front line, to your people, how to respond to the client when the client is telling them, don't do this. Or you can go and buy something and someone will tell you, do you need a receipt or not? If you need a receipt, you pay this much. If you don't need a receipt, you pay that much. So you need, again, to tell them and show them, literally show them. Have the systems. It doesn't matter, we will pay more money, but we are not talking about a sprint. We are talking about a marathon. And this is how we would go. That is the strategy. And believe you me, we have some companies who have done that and they have seen growth.
Okay.
Oh, yeah.
All right.
Let me tell you, not all companies are corrupt. No, no, no. There are many, many good companies in Kenya that are not corrupt. But we need more of them in order for the country, the organizations to grow.
To grow, okay. Now, you talked about, and it's very true, that we need to stop looking at the government as the corrupt ones, but also the private sector and ourselves as also being corrupt. But now when we talk about investment from outside, when we want to grow our GDP, we've had great investment opportunities. Someone like Dangote, you know, who wanted to come to invest in Kenya, but missed out on an opportunity, or we missed out on the opportunity because people in government, so people wanted some money fast. So that's a problem. It affects us either way. So what can be done to such?
You know, it's not just Dangote. When I was at KNCCI, we had the president, Madame Suluhu, coming with her 70 business people coming here with the then president Uhuru Kenyatta. And it was so embarrassing when one of the leaders, I think this was Mechi or Deuji, you know, very influential business person from Tanzania, who says, look, we cannot invest in Kenya because it takes 3 months to get us license. And for me to be able to get a license, I have to oil this person and this person and this person. And it was unfortunate because it was at a conference, it was in a public arena, and we had all the investment organizations there, and we did not know whether to smile, to laugh, or just to go
under the seats.
He said it,
yeah.
You know. It's there. Honestly, it's actually there. Now, recently, the same Dangote had a conference in Rwanda. He called all the rich business people to go, and they spoke about how they needed to invest back in Africa. But the one thing they did not talk about, corruption.
Corruption in Africa, yes, it's a problem.
They didn't. You know, and that is something that should have been there, should have been at the table, because that is something that is stunting our growth. People are getting scared. Once upon a time, everybody came to Kenya, but now as a country, we have a lot of competition from other countries. We have competition from Rwanda, we have competition from Ethiopia, we have competition from Tanzania, and the one thing they all say is that we have to pay a lot. Now, what does corruption do? Corruption increases the cost of doing business and increases the cost of doing business by over 20%.
Wow.
Now, tell me which company can afford to lose
20%. You'd rather not.
Rather not.
So it's a problem. And, okay, there's also now investors have also complained on investing in startups, you know, in SMEs in Kenya, local SMEs, because of trust issues. You know, you put in your money somewhere and then they just scam your way. Scam you of your money. Because I've spoken to some, and they're very fearful about investing in Kenya, but they really want to. So now, how can that be addressed?
But you know, what is trust? It comes back to ethics, isn't it?
That's the root.
It comes back to integrity. In my previous life as the vice president at Kenya National Chamber of Commerce and Industry, we used to go out of the country. We do these business forums and we tell people, come and invest in Kenya. They take our avocados.
Yeah.
The first consignment goes very well. Second consignment goes very well. Third consignment, because we really want to sell, we sell avocados that have not matured.
Yeah.
Hello? So we shoot ourselves in the foot. And these are the things that make investors a little bit skeptical about coming to Kenya. Now, again, these are the organizations that we are trying to talk to, but they don't. Some of them will come because of sustainability, they want to grow. Some of them will still want to do business in that manner. If I don't sell avocados to you, you don't want, I will go tomorrow and sell to somebody else and sell to somebody else. So what happens? Again, we go to our snakes and ladders. You see growth, and then
downward spiral again.
Yeah.
So it's a problem, and it's just,
and it keeps on
back.
repeating and repeating and repeating itself. Yeah.
So if we really want to grow, then we need to have integrity at the core of running our businesses, and that's the only thing that will get us going. I hope we can have that at, you know, as we continue with these conversations, because the conference you're having, it's one of them. This platform, it's one of them, and we need to keep them going. Do you see or how do you see Kenya improving or growing with the changes of us fighting corruption from this other side and not blaming the government, how do you see it? How will our businesses be better? How will the problem of unemployment, you know, go and all that?
It all boils down to you. And I'm looking at the camera here. When I say you, it is me, it is you, it is you. You see, we keep on pointing fingers. Those people are corrupt. But what about you? As a business person yourself, do you do what you are supposed to do? Do us as parents help our children to pass, or do we buy exams for them to pass? Isn't it? Do we let them compete and get it naturally because of their aptitude, or would we make a few phone calls for them to be given? So it actually comes back and boils down to you, the individual, because you and I make society, you and I make this country. Where do we want to leave the country? Do we want to leave the country high and dry? We were given a beautiful country. It was green. But now we've cut down all the trees, isn't it?
It's a problem,
because we need to sell charcoal. Do we ever think like what it used to be before? Ukikata moja, you grow two. Ukikata moja, you grow two. That way. Do we do that? Or we don't. We are just thinking of me, 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 me. And it's like we are all running in circles, but we are not moving because everybody is waiting for somebody to be ethical. I wait for you, you wait for me, I wait for somebody else, and it never gets happened. It never gets done. So during the conference, we invite, and we would love the youth to attend. We would love the youth to be there, and we would love the youth also to participate. Now, for example, somebody gets employed today. In about 3 months or 6 months, and I'm talking about the youth here, you want to drive the best car. You want to wear the best shoes. How?
Not possible.
There was a process that you grow, isn't it? Don't be in a hurry. I know we all need money, but for God's sake, don't be in a hurry. It will come. You have to go systematically. And this comes back again to ethics. What are my personal values? Are we, as parents and grandparents, teaching our children about these values? Or do we give lip service? You jump when you're driving. If somebody comes and stops you, you abuse them, or you give kitu kidogo, and now kitu kidogo is even in Oxford, the dictionary. You you give kitu kidogo, and your children are watching you. They are seeing. Now, how do you expect that child to be ethical, even if you tell them, but you do something else? Yeah.
So it starts with us. And it's not just, it's in every aspect of life. It builds on to when your child gets into business, because you started showing them that this is how it's supposed to be done. And as we close, I know you'll tell us how now people can get participate and be part of the event. But now I want to ask you, why is it important for the youth, because you've mentioned the youth, to be part of this conversation?
Whether we like it or not, we are 6th floor, we will go. Whom do we leave the country to? They will grow, isn't it? Now, they also need to espouse these values earlier, okay? Because at one point, I was young also, isn't it? At one point, they are young now, but they will also be fathers. They will need a prosperous country. They will need a good place to raise their children. Not that everybody just runs away because Kenya is corrupt. But who is Kenya?
It's us.
It's us. It's me and
it's
you.
me and you.
Isn't it?
Kenya ni home, yes.
Yes. Kenya ni yetu, hatutahama. You know? So, it's these values that we espouse, and it's these values that the youth also need to take for them to grow and for them to have a sustainable business or a sustainable country long term.
All right. Yeah. Great. So now, how can the youth plug into the ABEC conference?
Attend.
Okay.
They can go to africa/abec.org. They can register. They will see it. Okay. And whether they are able to come to the conference or not, we are looking at making it into a hybrid so that not everybody comes.
Okay.
Some people can go online,
virtually,
like we did in 2021. They can come and they can listen. And above all, whether you are there or not, whether you attend or not, be ethical. By the way, ethics makes you grow in your career and in your business. Business people want to employ ethical staff because a lot of people who get employed, I remember when I was employed, the minute you employ somebody, by the time they're the third month, they want to look at how can they eat in that company.
That's true.
But if you are eating the company, you are eating, I'm eating, he is eating, what remains?
Nothing. And it's very profound because there's a day I was at the nail parlor, and there's a business lady who was there, and she was sharing how she has a new person, and this person is very slow at work, so she has to call her when any customer comes in to ask about the prices. But it was interesting that she preferred working with this lady compared to her previous employee, because, and her reason was that because this lady is very faithful in her work. She accounts for everything, you know, but the previous employee became very greedy and hungry, so she used to get some money, you know, steal some money, just to be straight, from her. And that's what you're talking about. Businesses want someone who's truthful, who has integrity, and that's how you grow either way. All right, so as we close, what is your final parting shots, if I can put it like that? What do you want to leave our viewers with? That's your camera.
Whether you're in business or whether you are in employment, for you to grow, for you to be sustainable, you need to espouse values, personal values. In the long run, they actually pay off. I have seen it with myself, I have seen it with friends, and the ones who ran so fast in order to get more, to drive the most posh car, to have the most posh shoes, they did in the short term. In the long run, it was not possible for them. Thank you.
Very profound. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Ms. Fatma, for coming on board and sharing these amazing insights with us. I hope you've enjoyed the conversation. We've been talking about navigating ethical practices and sustainable growth strategies. I hope you take all these tips and apply it in your life, in your business, in your career, whichever thing that you're doing. Make sure that your ethical integrity, let it be the core of it. Together we can change the situation we're in as a country and grow our GDP and everything in between. So now we're going to take a short break, and then we'll be right back with the next conversation. Stay with us.